Delving into the heart of the Catholic Church, the Vatican holds an array of secrets and mysteries that extend beyond its spiritual duties. This video reveals 15 undisclosed aspects that the Vatican, the world's smallest sovereign state, may prefer to remain concealed. Number 1. The Vatican's hidden archives. Few places on Earth possess a history as extensive and enigmatic as the Vatican's apostolic archives. A place surrounded by myth, rumor, and conspiracy, its contents are said to be far more than the mere annals of church history. The Vatican Archives, or the Archivum Secretum Apostolicum Vaticanum, as they are officially known, house an estimated 85 kilometers of shelving filled with documents dating back to the 8th century. This vast historical treasure includes letters from Michelangelo, a 60-meter-long scroll detailing the trial of the Knights Templar, and documents from the Inquisition period. Yet, only a handful of scholars are granted access, raising questions about what else may lie within the mysterious troves. Despite the Church's recent efforts to demystify the archive by renaming it to the Vatican Apostolic Archive in 2019, the lure of the secret has only amplified. Among the speculated contents are lost gospels, damning evidence of extraterrestrial life, and theories revolving around Jesus Christ's bloodline. One particular subject of intrigue lies in the role of the Vatican during World War II. It is alleged that some documents in the hidden archives could shed light on Pope Pius XIV's conduct during the Holocaust, potentially uncovering an unspoken alliance with Nazi Germany. However, without unrestricted access, such speculation continues to prevail. Another frequently hypothesized document is the third prophecy of Fatima, which was reportedly revealed to 3 shepherd children in 1917 by the Virgin Mary. The Church published the prophecy in 2000, but skeptics believe that the real prophecy, purportedly predicting apocalyptic events, is concealed within the Vatican's archives. While the Church argues the restriction is to protect the fragile documents and prevent misinterpretations, the limited access to the Vatican's archives fuels theories about cover-ups and secrets that might challenge the Church's image and authority. The Vatican's hidden archives thus remain an emblem of the Church's intricate past, a tantalizing labyrinth of history and speculation that continues to feed the world's fascination with the secrets the Vatican might be hiding. Number 2. St. Peter's Bones controversy. Among the foundations of the Roman Catholic Church lies a mystery that is both literal and symbolic: the bones of St. Peter, the Church's first pope. This enigma has been a focal point of controversy, attracting both believers and skeptics from around the world. The story begins beneath St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, where a necropolis, or city of the dead, was discovered during excavations in the 1940s. Here, amid the maze of mausoleums and tombs, archaeologists uncovered what is now known as the Trophy of Gaius, a monument believed to mark St. Peter's burial place. In 1968, Pope Paul VI announced that the bones of St. Peter had been found in a repository near this monument. However, doubts have always surrounded this claim. Firstly, the bones were not found within the tomb itself, but in a repository nearby. Secondly, although the bones were wrapped in a purple cloth woven with gold, a treatment befitting of a person of great importance, no definitive proof connects them to St. Peter. This mystery continues to generate controversy, leaving many to question the authenticity of the bones. Despite the lack of definitive proof, the bones' symbolic value to the Church remains immense. Regardless of whose remains they truly are, they symbolize the unbroken lineage of the papacy, a direct connection to the roots of the Church, and for many believers, a direct link to the life of Jesus Christ himself. Number 3. The third secret of Fatima. The secrets of Fatima represent one of the most enduring mysteries of the Catholic Church, and none is more debated than the third secret. In 1917, in the small village of Fatima, Portugal, 3 young shepherds were reportedly visited by the Virgin Mary, who entrusted them with 3 prophecies. The first 2 secrets, predicting the end of World War I and forewarning the rise of World War II, were published by the Vatican in 1941. However, the third secret remained unpublished until 2000, leading to extensive speculation and intrigue. When the third secret was finally disclosed, it was revealed to be a vision of a bishop dressed in white who suffers martyrdom along with other Christians. This was interpreted by the Church as a prophecy of the 1981 assassination attempt on Pope John Paul II. However, this interpretation has stirred controversy, as many feel that the revealed third secret did not match the magnitude of its anticipation. Critics suggest that the true content of the third secret is far more alarming, potentially foretelling a great schism within the Church, the end of the world, or even damning evidence against the papacy itself. Adding fuel to the conspiracy theories is Sister Lucia, one of the original visionaries, who allegedly wrote the secret down in the form of a letter, sealed in an envelope, to be opened by the Pope in 1960. The specific year was chosen because Lucia said it would become clearer then. However, when the time came, Pope John XIII decided not to disclose it, which only escalated the speculations. Despite the Church's attempt to lay the third secret of Fatima to rest, its complete contents and interpretation remain subjects of fierce debate and curiosity, not only among the faithful but also within circles dedicated to Vaticanology and prophecy. Number 4. The Pope's infallibility doctrine. Central to the dogma of the Roman Catholic Church is the belief in the infallibility of the Pope. According to this doctrine, when the Pope speaks ex cathedra, that is, in his official capacity as the Supreme Pontiff, he is preserved from error by the Holy Spirit. This assertion of divine protection raises questions and controversies within and outside the Church. The doctrine of papal infallibility was formally defined at the First Vatican Council in 1870. It sparked considerable debate and resistance, with critics arguing that it contradicted the principles of human fallibility and undermined the authority of Scripture. Moreover, opponents saw it as a power consolidation mechanism that elevated the Pope above the authority of councils and the collective wisdom of the Church. While the doctrine is typically invoked in matters of faith and morals, the extent of its application remains contentious. Some argue that it applies only to explicit pronouncements on faith and morals made ex cathedra, while others contend that it extends to the Pope's teachings on a broader range of topics. This ambiguity has led to debates surrounding the boundaries of infallibility and the potential for abuse of power. Critics also question the historical accuracy of the doctrine, highlighting instances where popes have made errors or held contradictory opinions. Supporters argue that the infallibility doctrine safeguards the Church's teachings from error, ensuring unity and consistency. They emphasize that the doctrine is rarely invoked and that the Pope exercises prudence in matters of doctrine and interpretation. Ultimately, the doctrine of papal infallibility remains a cornerstone of Catholic faith, shaping the Church's hierarchy and decision-making processes. It continues to inspire theological discussions and provoke philosophical debates about authority, divine intervention, and the relationship between fallible humans and the infallible Pope. Number 5. The Pius IV and Nazi connection. The pontificate of Pope Pius IV, who served as Pope from 1939 to 1958, has been a subject of intense scrutiny and controversy, particularly regarding his alleged connection to the Nazi regime during World War II. This chapter explores the historical context and varying perspectives surrounding this contentious period. Critics argue that Pius XIV did not do enough to publicly condemn the atrocities committed by the Nazis and protect the Jewish population. They accuse him of maintaining a neutral stance and prioritizing the Church's diplomatic relations and the safety of Catholics over confronting the horrors of the Holocaust. Some even go as far as labeling him as Hitler's Pope. However, supporters of Pius IV, known as Pius Defenders, contend that his approach was more nuanced and complex. They argue that he worked discreetly behind the scenes, providing aid to Jewish individuals and other victims of persecution. They highlight instances where he issued private warnings to governments and clergy and facilitated rescue efforts through church networks. They claim that a public denouncement of the Nazis would have endangered more lives, including Catholics and the Church's institutions. The debate surrounding Pius VI's actions during the Holocaust remains highly divisive, with scholars and historians offering differing interpretations based on available evidence. The Vatican's own archives, which were made accessible in 2020 for the years leading up to and during Pius XII's papacy, have provided new avenues for research and analysis. Ultimately, the question of Pius XIII's relationship with the Nazi regime continues to be a subject of investigation and controversy. It raises broader issues about the role of the Church during times of moral crisis, the complexities of diplomacy versus public condemnation, and the responsibility of religious leaders to address human rights violations. The debate surrounding Pius IV underscores the importance of historical accuracy, thorough research, and open dialogue when examining sensitive topics in the context of the Catholic Church's history. Number 6. The Vatican Bank Scandals. The Vatican Bank, officially known as the Institute for the Works of Religion, IOR, has been at the center of numerous financial scandals that have tarnished the reputation of the Holy See. These scandals have exposed the Vatican's involvement in illicit activities, money laundering, and mismanagement of funds. One of the most infamous scandals occurred in the 1980s, when it was revealed that the IOR had been used as a conduit for money laundering and illegal financial transactions. The bank was implicated in a scheme known as the Banco Ambrosiano affair, which involved the embezzlement of funds, connections to organized crime, and the suspicious death of Roberto Calvi, the chairman of Banco Ambrosiano. The Vatican Bank eventually paid a settlement to Banco Ambrosiano's creditors, but the incident left a stain on its reputation. In more recent years, the Vatican Bank has faced additional controversies. In 2010, it was embroiled in a money laundering investigation that led to the freezing of 23 million euros, $30 million, by Italian authorities. This incident prompted the Vatican to implement reforms aimed at improving financial transparency and compliance with international standards. Despite these reforms, the Vatican Bank faced another scandal in 2013, when Pope Francis ordered an investigation into allegations of corruption and mismanagement. The investigation resulted in the ousting of several high-ranking officials and the appointment of new leadership to restore credibility. The recurring scandals involving the Vatican Bank have exposed the challenges the Church faces in balancing its spiritual mission with financial operations. They have underscored the need for greater transparency, accountability, and adherence to international financial regulations. The Vatican continues to work towards implementing reforms to prevent further scandals and regain public trust in its financial operations. Number 7. The Vatican's secret property empire. Beyond its spiritual and religious significance, the Vatican holds a vast and secretive empire of properties around the world. These properties include not only churches, basilicas, and cathedrals, but also an extensive portfolio of real estate and valuable assets. The extent of the Vatican's property holdings is difficult to ascertain due to the lack of transparency surrounding its acquisitions and management. Estimates suggest that the Holy See owns thousands of properties worldwide, including prime real estate in major cities such as Rome, London, and New York. These holdings encompass residential buildings, commercial spaces, agricultural land, and even luxury properties. The secrecy surrounding the Vatican's property empire has fueled speculation about its wealth and motives. Critics argue that the Church's vast real estate holdings contradict its mission of helping the poor and marginalized. They question whether the Church should be amassing such wealth instead of redistributing it to support charitable causes. The Vatican's property empire has also faced allegations of financial mismanagement and questionable deals. Some properties have been embroiled in legal disputes and controversies, including allegations of money laundering and tax evasion. The lack of transparency and accountability regarding the Vatican's real estate holdings has led to calls for greater disclosure and oversight. Critics argue that the Church should be more transparent about its assets and ensure that its property management aligns with its mission of serving the faithful and promoting social justice. Number 8. The Swiss Guard's true role. The Swiss Guard, with its distinctive Renaissance-style uniforms and halberds, is a symbol of the Vatican and the papacy. But beyond their ceremonial duties, the Swiss Guard plays a vital role in protecting the Pope and maintaining security within Vatican City. Founded in 1506, the Swiss Guard is the oldest standing army in the world. Comprising primarily Swiss recruits, the Guard's main responsibility is to ensure the safety and security of the Pope and the Apostolic Palace. They guard the entrances to Vatican City, conduct patrols, and monitor security systems. Despite their colorful appearance and historical traditions, the Swiss Guards' training is rigorous and modern. Recruits undergo intense military training, including combat and marksmanship skills, to ensure they are prepared for any potential security threats. In addition to their security duties, the Swiss Guard also participates in ceremonial events and papal liturgies, adding a sense of grandeur and historical continuity to the Vatican's public appearances. Their distinctive uniforms, designed by Michelangelo, serve as a symbol of the Vatican's traditions and the connection between the Church and its Swiss protectors. Number 9. The hidden details of papal elections. The election of a new pope, known as a papal conclave, is a centuries-old tradition shrouded in secrecy and ritual. While the process of electing a pope has undergone some changes over time, numerous hidden details and traditions continue to surround this important event. The conclave begins with the gathering of cardinals in the Sistine Chapel, where they are secluded from the outside world until a new pope is chosen. During this time, the cardinals participate in multiple rounds of voting, with the requirement of a two-thirds majority to elect the pope. Secrecy is paramount during the conclave. The cardinals take an oath of secrecy with severe penalties, including excommunication for those who violate it. The Sistine Chapel is swept for any potential surveillance devices, and the cardinals' communication with the outside world is strictly regulated. The ballots used during the voting process are burned after each round, producing black smoke if no pope has been elected, or white smoke when a pope has been chosen. The white smoke is achieved by adding chemicals to the ballots, creating a distinct signal visible from St. Peter's Square, signaling the joyous news to the waiting crowd. Once a pope has been elected, the new pontiff must accept the role before choosing his papal name and making his first appearance on the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica to address the faithful. Number 10. The mysterious death of Pope John Paul I. The sudden death of Pope John Paul I, born Albino Luciani, on September 28, 1978, just 33 days after his election, remains shrouded in mystery and speculation. The circumstances surrounding his untimely demise have given rise to numerous theories and conspiracy claims. Pope John Paul I's death was officially attributed to a heart attack, but the brevity of his pontificate and the lack of a thorough investigation have fueled suspicions of foul play. Some theories suggest that he may have been the victim of poisoning, potentially related to his alleged intention to uncover corruption within the Vatican. One key aspect that has raised eyebrows is the swift embalming of the body, denying the possibility of a full autopsy. Critics argue that this hasty procedure hindered a proper examination and prevented conclusive findings regarding the cause of death. Another point of controversy is the Vatican's handling of information related to the Pope's death. Reports indicate that certain records and documents surrounding the events leading up to his passing were removed or tampered with, raising doubts about the transparency of the official narrative. Number 11. The alleged relics. Relics, objects associated with saints or religious figures, have played a significant role in Catholic devotion and spirituality. Throughout history, the Catholic Church has collected and venerated numerous relics, ranging from fragments of the true cross to items believed to have belonged to biblical figures or saints. However, the authenticity of many alleged relics remains a subject of debate and skepticism. Relics come in different forms, such as body parts, relics of the saints, pieces of clothing, or objects believed to have come into contact with holy individuals. The veneration of relics is rooted in the belief that these objects possess a spiritual connection to the divine and can bestow blessings and miracles upon the faithful. While the veneration of relics has brought comfort and inspiration to many believers, critics question the legitimacy of certain relics. The acquisition and trade of relics throughout history have given rise to concerns of fraud, forgery, and the exploitation of religious sentiment. Some skeptics argue that the sheer number of relics claimed to be in existence raises doubts about their authenticity. For example, it is said that there are enough fragments of the true cross to build several crucifixes. Additionally, advancements in scientific analysis have allowed for the examination of relics, revealing instances where objects claimed to be ancient relics are, in fact, modern forgeries. The Church acknowledges that not all relics can be proven beyond a doubt, but it maintains that the veneration of relics serves as a powerful spiritual aid for believers, encouraging prayer and fostering devotion. The focus is often placed on the spiritual significance and inspiration that relics provide, rather than solely on their historical or scientific authenticity. Number 12. The Church's role in the Spanish Civil War. The Spanish Civil War, 1936 to 1939, was a conflict that deeply impacted Spain and the world, and the Catholic Church played a significant role in the events and aftermath of the war. The Church's involvement during this turbulent period was marked by complex dynamics and varying degrees of support for different factions. During the Spanish Civil War, Spain became divided between the Republican government, which sought to implement a secular and anti-clerical agenda, and the nationalists led by General Francisco Franco, who sought to restore traditional values and the influence of the Catholic Church. The Church aligned itself with the nationalist cause, seeing it as a defense against the perceived assault on Catholicism by the Republican government. The Church hierarchy, including many bishops and priests, openly supported Franco's nationalists and actively promoted their cause. As the war progressed, the Church's support for the nationalists went beyond ideological backing. Clergy members often served as chaplains and provided spiritual guidance to nationalist troops. Additionally, the Church mobilized its resources, including schools and properties, to aid the nationalists, providing them with moral and material support. The Catholic Church's support for Franco and the nationalists continued after their victory in the Spanish Civil War. The Church's collaboration with the Franco regime allowed it to regain significant power and influence in Spanish society, with Catholicism becoming the state religion. Number 13. The Vatican's influence on global politics. The Vatican, as the spiritual and administrative center of the Roman Catholic Church, holds a unique position that has allowed it to exert influence on global politics throughout history. From diplomatic negotiations to moral guidance on important issues, the Vatican's involvement in global affairs spans a wide range of areas. The Holy See, as the sovereign entity of the Vatican city-state, maintains diplomatic relations with numerous countries and international organizations. It has observer status at the United Nations and plays an active role in advocating for peace, human rights, and social justice on the international stage. The Pope, as the head of the Catholic Church, often utilizes his moral authority to address global challenges and promote dialogue among nations. The Vatican's influence on global politics is particularly notable in areas such as diplomacy, conflict resolution, and the promotion of human rights. Popes have acted as mediators in international disputes, facilitated peace negotiations, and used their moral authority to advocate for the rights of the marginalized and vulnerable. While the Vatican's influence on global politics is significant, it is not without controversy and criticism. Some argue that the Church's positions on certain issues hinder progress and restrict individual freedoms. Others question the democratic legitimacy of a non-elected religious institution exerting influence in political affairs. Number 14. The alleged exorcism rituals. Exorcism is a practice deeply rooted in religious traditions, including within the Catholic Church. Alleged exorcism rituals, involving the casting out of demons or evil spirits, have been a subject of fascination, controversy, and skepticism. The Catholic Church acknowledges the reality of demonic possession and recognizes the need for spiritual intervention in certain cases. However, the Church maintains strict protocols and guidelines regarding exorcism to ensure that the practice is carried out with caution and in accordance with established procedures. Alleged exorcism rituals often capture public attention through sensationalized media portrayals, movies, and anecdotal accounts. These depictions, sometimes diverging from the Church's prescribed procedures, can contribute to misconceptions and misunderstandings about the practice. It is essential to distinguish between the Church's official stance on exorcism and the reported cases of unauthorized or improper exorcisms conducted outside the established protocols. The Church aims to ensure that individuals who believe they require exorcism receive the appropriate spiritual guidance and support while addressing any underlying psychological or medical concerns.